The morning the yacht was destroyed, the marina smelled like salt and burned paint. Evan Cole stood at the edge of the pier, barefoot, shoes forgotten in his hand, heart frozen in his chest. The yacht was not just a boat. It was years of work, nights without sleep, risks that nearly broke him. The water around it was cloudy. Splintered wood floated like memories that refused to sink. A crane sat idle, its steel arms still dripping seawater. HOA board members stood nearby with crossed arms, faces tight with authority and pride. They believed they were right. They believed power lived in clipboards and rules. Evan felt something deeper than anger. It was betrayal. Silence filled his ears as if the ocean itself had stopped breathing. A voice echoed in his mind saying, "This cannot be real." But it was real. The yacht was gone, and everyone thought Evan was finished. The HOA president, a man named Gerald, spoke loudly so others could hear. He said, "Unauthorized docking is a violation." He said, "Consequences are consequences." People watching whispered, some nodded, some looked away. Evan remembered when he first bought this marina, back when it was rusted, empty, ignored by the city. No one wanted it then. He rebuilt it plank by plank, loan by loan, but he kept ownership quiet. He leased it under a holding company to avoid attention. Power attracts enemies. Today, those enemies wore name badges and smiles. Gerald waved papers like weapons. The board congratulated themselves. They believed they had crushed a rich, arrogant owner. They did not know they had destroyed their own foundation. Evan knelt down and touched the water. Oil shimmered across the surface, reflecting the sky. His hands shook, not from fear, but from restraint. He remembered his father teaching him that real strength waits, that revenge rushed is revenge wasted. A marina worker whispered, "Sir, do you want us to call the police?" Evan shook his head slowly. Not yet. He stood up straight, looked Gerald in the eyes, and said nothing. That silence unsettled them more than shouting ever could. Gerald laughed nervously. He told others, "See, he knows he is wrong." The board walked away, already planning fines, lawsuits, and headlines. They did not see Evan smile. That night, Evan sat alone in his office overlooking the harbor. Lights from the docks flickered like distant stars. He pulled out the original deed, the one stamped and signed decades ago. The marina was his. Every slip, every piling, every dock. He owned the water rights. The HOA dock authority extended exactly 0 feet into his property. They had no legal ground, no jurisdiction, no permission. What they did was not enforcement, it was destruction of private property. Evan poured a drink and did not sip it. He thought about the workers who lost jobs when the marina was nearly bankrupt, about the families who depended on it now. The HOA had crossed more than a line. They had attacked his life work. The next morning, lawyers arrived, not angry ones, calm, precise ones. Documents were served quietly. Each HOA board member received notice: violation of property rights, illegal demolition, trespass, environmental damage. The marina gates were locked, access revoked, fuel delivery stopped, emergency dock use suspended. Boats owned by board members sat trapped, unable to leave. Phones started ringing. Gerald demanded answers. The city demanded answers. The Coast Guard demanded answers. Evan finally spoke. He said, "I own the marina." The silence on the line was absolute. Panic spread faster than rumors. Homeowners realized their docks were technically illegal. Insurance companies froze coverage. Boat owners begged for temporary access. The HOA tried emergency meetings, tried apologies, tried threats. Nothing worked. Evan walked the docks slowly, greeting workers by name. He funded cleanup. He hired divers. He paid for environmental restoration. People saw the difference between authority and responsibility. Local news picked up the story. Headlines questioned HOA power. Public opinion shifted. The board members hid from cameras. Gerald resigned by email. A courtroom filled with quiet tension. The judge listened carefully. Evidence stacked high. Video footage, witness statements, ownership records. The HOA defense collapsed piece by piece. They had acted without notice, without jurisdiction, without consent. The judge ruled swiftly. Damages awarded. Board members personally liable. The marina recognized as private property. Applause was not allowed, but relief filled the room. Evan closed his eyes briefly, not in victory, but in closure. Months later, the marina thrived. New yachts, new families, new trust. A memorial plaque marked the dock, rebuilt stronger than before. It read, "Quietly rebuilt by those who care." Evan kept it simple. No name, no title. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a voluntary community council. Rules rewritten, power redistributed. People learned that ownership is not dominance, it is stewardship. One evening, Evan stood where the yacht once rested. The new vessel gleamed under sunset light, different shape, same soul. A worker asked him why he never told anyone he owned the marina. Evan smiled and said, "Because some lessons only work when learned the hard way." The ocean moved calmly, as if in agreement. The story spread far beyond the harbor. A reminder whispered among communities. Rules mean nothing without respect. Authority means nothing without accountability. And when you destroy what you do not understand, you might find out too late that it was never yours to touch.